Thinking has become a luxury. And I don't mean intelligence, I don't mean education, I mean actual thinking. Sitting with an idea, questioning it, following it, and maybe also changing your mind about it. Because, like, somewhere along the way, we became surrounded by information and answers that we out of actual thoughts. I'm just a rapper talking about topics that I find too long to fit in a song, how I feel about them, and this is one of them. Boredom used to be so important because then we'd never actually run out of thoughts while standing in queues, maybe waiting for the bus, sitting in the car, or maybe laying on the couch. Before the constant entertainment and before the takeover of social media, boredom used to force us to actually think. Sitting alone, ideas appeared in silence, creativity appeared in silence, and also self-reflection also appeared in silence. But then nowadays, as soon as silence arrives, you run to your phone. As soon as boredom arrives, you run to your phone. As soon as discomfort also arrives, you run to your phone. Maybe the problem is not that we think less, but maybe the problem is that we never give thoughts a chance. We are consuming more information than any other generation before us. But consuming information is not the same as thinking. Nowadays, a person can sit and watch like 20 self-improvement videos, maybe 10 business videos, and maybe 50 motivational videos, and never actually sit down and question themselves if, do I actually agree with this? We are genuinely living life on borrowed opinions and recycled thoughts. Everybody nowadays is repeating things they heard on the internet. A lot of people don't have opinions anymore, they just have subscriptions. Every question needs to take effort. Nowadays there's Google, there's ChatGPT, there's Grok, there's YouTube. Answers became so easy to find that questions started losing value. There's no curiosity anymore. Like, people are not even out there trying to discover things. Before, people were curious and they would actually go out and search for answers. Before, people would actually go out there, explore, trying to find answers because they're trying to figure things out. But nowadays, that doesn't happen anymore. The internet has solved a lot of problems, but it also removed a lot of thinking. Thinking is hard because thinking often leads to somewhere uncomfortable. If you think about your relationship, your career, your friendships, or maybe your behaviors, you might discover that there are things that you don't like, and that is why distractions always win. Because people nowadays are constantly avoiding accountability, they are constantly avoiding uncertainty, and then they also avoiding the harsh truths. And I understand, because distractions are not always entertainment, but distractions sometimes are protection. And if you look at artists, entrepreneurs, inventors, and athletes, these are people that usually change things. And if you look at them, they usually spend their time thinking than actually reacting. And it is not that they are smarter, it's just that they spend most of their time observing, questioning, and reflecting. And if you pay attention to them, you'll notice that most breakthroughs start off as unpopular thoughts. And then what happens when people stop thinking? They become easier to distract, they become easier to manipulate, and they become easy to influence. Because the person who controls your attention eventually influences your decisions. And one thing I've learned as a marketing student is that attention is important because whatever controls your attention influences your behavior. Maybe thinking became a luxury, not because we are less capable and not that we are less intelligent, but because we are surrounded by things that are competing for our attention. And maybe people who will succeed in the future are not the people with the most information. It'll be the people who sit with information long enough to form their own thoughts, because knowledge is everywhere and thinking isn't.